Hello everybody, Hito here and welcome back to another video. This time we are not talking about Infinity Nikki, but a new gacha game that will be coming out sometime maybe this year. Before we take a look at the game, it would mean a lot if you left a like and a comment under the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more gacha game related content. Now let's jump into the video. The game in question is called Silver Palace, which is being developed by Elementa using Unreal Engine 5. The game plays as an anime-inspired action RPG fantasy adventure game, which makes it sound a lot like open world won't be one of the main aspects and may not even be the case at all, so it might play a lot more in a compact way like, let's say, Honkai Star Rail. The general premise of the story is that we are a detective who's being hired to investigate why people are turning into monsters. Because apparently it seems to be kind of like a virus, like we're in a zombie apocalypse, yet people are still trying to go by their day and live their normal lives, so it's up to us to fix everything. As of now, we only see that the game takes place in a English-inspired town called Silvernia. Now, while this is the only place that we know of so far that we can explore, the map for it is already quite extensive, so I feel like we will be sitting here for quite a while. Of course, this game is going to have gacha in it, but we have no information on that yet. So far, all we've seen is a gameplay trailer and a general trailer for the game. I will leave both of the links for both videos to IGN's new video in the video description so you can check them out yourself, because they are really fun to watch actually, and it's really cool to pick out on the small details that you might be missing the first time you're watching. Now, a few things that I find kind of interesting is that, first of all, at the very end, one of the characters says that you can't escape your fate unless you happen to be the author, and the camera shows the MC, which means that we apparently are a higher being, probably, which may also be why we've been hired to investigate this case so we can change this fate. Aside that, it seems that there's only a female MC this time around. I could be absolutely wrong, but in none of the footage shown in these roughly 50 minutes, not a single male MC has been shown. We have seen a few male characters, but so far it seems that we only get a female MC. Now, the gameplay is probably what you are the most interested in, so let's take a look at that. Now, something that is really fun is that I've mentioned earlier that the map for Silvernia seems kind of big, and there are ways to fast travel. You can go both by road with a car, or you can ride your horse. You can even fly with that horse, and you can also explore on the rooftops where there are places where you can kind of use rails and fast travel with those. There are definitely a lot of ways to explore this very beautifully stylized town. But of course, there is also combat. Now, one of the things that were extremely interesting is that we seem to have to check people. As a detective, it is probably going to be a pretty important thing, but we are meant to investigate people and determine on how far they've turned if we have to fight them. So we see that one of them is below 50%, and then the other person has a 100% rate, which means that we, yes, shoot them and fight them. The second they're shot, they turn into the monster, giving us all the reason to battle them. Aside that, it also seems that we just generally get sucked into combat. It doesn't have to happen this way. The monsters can already be waiting for us in the town, it seems. Plus, there also are boss battles, it seems. It looks like we've already been shown 2 different ones, so the story that we will get once the game releases is probably going to be extremely extensive, which I'm really loving. Now, the combat is actually quite simple looking. It is a free roam battle style like you see in Genshin Impact or Wuthering Waves, with a few tactical elements here and there. Those including that you can, with some characters, switch from range to melee attacks. You can also switch your characters around to switch the playstyle from a sword user to a great sword user, for example. And what has piqued my interest the most is that we can not only dodge, but parry attacks. This honestly reminded me a lot of Expedition 33, but aside that, there really is no similarity between the two games, so that flew out of the window immediately. But still, it is really cool to see a parry mechanic in a battle style game like this. It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild, where you have to perfect parry a few enemies. Very specifically Guardians if you want to make the fight a bit shorter. So this is really, really cool. It does also seem like there will be elements involved again. I could be wrong, it's a bit hard to tell. There are a few features that make me think that though. During one of the combats we see the showcaser switching between the characters. Now our main character has a purple aura around her and a few of the attacks do numbers in the purple color and the white color, which means that this is probably an elemental infusion. And then a few of the other characters seem to have their own elements. One of them seems to have ice powers and another one seems to have fire powers. We can also see that the enemies do have a little element icon above their health bar if they are infused with an element by us. So I feel like elemental reactions are going to play a huge part in combat here as well. Now, it is quite hard to tell, but I'm going to assume that we do have to build characters with something like artifacts or relics or whatever, but it might also be like in Withering Ways, but there has been no confirmation on that. But the reason I think we do that is because once we had this one battle with one of the people that did turn into a monster, afterwards that monster gets logged. There are different logs for enemies, and it did look like we absorbed them. Now, I'm not sure if it is simply a battle log or if they are in fact our artifacts, but I don't really think so, just because they didn't show any further what the monsters in our log do. So for now, I'm only going to assume that these are in fact logged enemies. Now, if we go with the log, then we have something else interesting going on, because if you play Infinity Nikki and have done the faction battles, then this seems a lot like that actually, because we see right there that one of the enemies in the big text and at the end of like the family tree is called the Wolf King, and the other enemies just seem to simply be the enemies. So what I think is going to happen is that we need to battle all of the enemies that are surrounding the Wolf King, probably protecting him, and then we get intel on where he is so we can battle him. Now that sounds a bit easy, so there's probably a lot of difficulty in finding certain enemies, but I feel like this is where this is headed. It would also make a lot of sense considering that we are a detective and we need to find things. Now, something else that is kind of battle mechanic-y that I find really, really cool is that we can sneak up to enemies and we can... yeah. I don't think sneak attacks are that common in these types of games, so it's really cool to see that being utilized. On top of that, it also seems that we have kind of QTEs in this if a sneak attack seems to fail, for example, so that is also really, really cool. Now, I don't know if we can sneak attack on the regular or if it's in certain areas, because the area that we do enter does seem a bit enclosed, so maybe it's like a mini dungeon situation where you can decide how you want to battle the enemies. But again, this is a breath of fresh air. Yes, it does seem a bit similar to other games we've played before, obviously, but it definitely has its own touch, and I really, really love that. And that's it. So far, this is all the information that we have. I feel like if we just looked at the trailer by frame, I will probably be able to find a lot more little things here and there to debunk, but I want to keep this a bit short and just show you guys what we are waiting for. But do let me know what you guys have found or what your theories are, because again, this is all we have so far. We don't even know when the game is meant to release. I am hoping for 2025, but probably not, considering that this is an early showcase. We probably have to wait until 2026 or even 2027. But then again, the initial trailer for the game is already voice acted in full English, so who knows how far this game is already actually. But yeah, do let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm really excited to hear it, and I will see you guys in the next video, which is who even knows what. Have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.